So Luke's finished off welding the front pinion support mount and also braced the rear subframe for the diff. So that diff is not going anywhere now. Then he's going to move on to a twin 3-inch exhaust. He's already started work on that, so it's going to make some noise. And then hopefully, if he gets through that, yes, I'm asking a lot today, we're going to move on to the suspension. Luke's over there trying to get rid of the bushes out of the old rear arms. He's not having a good time, but he is making progress. We've got a full Whiteline suspension kit for the car, bushes, arms, ball joints, tie rod ends. Let's get to it.
So we're onto the front end. We've got to rip this cross member out. I've got to trim it down a little bit to fit the sump. Only reason I know that is because I've done it before and we're going to use the same sump. So we're going to pull this out, do some trimming. We've got our spacers here, which are just sitting there in place. We're going to put some crush tubes in that. We'll go through that, weld those up to the cross member, and then we'll try and get it all painted up, ready for some front end bushing, some wheel bearings, and yeah, keep moving forward. We're pretty much done with our clearance and modifications of our cross member to suit the LS sump. We've got to do a bit of tidying up and trimming up, but yeah, we're just now got to do the crush tubes for this particular spacer. Yeah, so whenever you're building anything with a box tube or something like this, and you've got to run a through bolt, it's very important to put a crush tube through there. So if you were to just put a nut and bolt through there, through your chassis rail and tighten it up, you're just going to tighten it up and then this is going to crush and your nut's going to come loose and you're in big trouble. So you make up some of these little crush tubes and essentially they just go through there, you tap them in, we're just going to put it through, tack them in, and that's it, they're good to go. They don't have to be in there, welded in there for any particular strength reason, it's just to hold them in. So a common problem with lower control arms, well, in general, is they can be a bit flimsy and bend with hard cornering, hard loads, hard impacts. These aren't horrible, but we're just going to strengthen them up. I've just drilled a few holes. We've got some 20mm box tube. Essentially, that's just going to go in there, gusset it, we'll weld it up. It's just peace of mind, really. They're not horrible, but while we're out, while we're doing it, why not? All right, so we are now moving on to our suspension bushes and steering arms and whatnot. It's a very easy component to get overlooked, the old suspension bushes, and they really make the car drive so much better. Turning, handling, just drivability, they're so much nicer. We've chosen Whiteline here purely because they're a well-renowned brand and they've got plenty of go-fast bits. They've got, for example, all your adjustable arms, they've got your adjustable sway bars, heavy-duty sway bars we're running. We have a roll center correction kit, which is essential for us. I've actually used this particular kit in my own GC8. With us dropping down the K-frame 40mm, that throws out your suspension geometry. But essentially it's the same as when you lower your car, you throw out all your suspension, your control arm geometry. So these, they essentially reset that. So being a race car, we want as much adjustment throughout this car as possible to give us correct setup on the track. As you can see, these arms, not only are they fully adjustable, these adjust your camber, your toe, your track, the whole lot, but they're a lot beefier, they're a lot stronger. Come over and have a look.
So this is a press kit by Whiteline. We've used this in both the hydraulic press and now we're going to use the hand tool side of it.
This is a must for doing bushes. Bushes are a bastard to replace and they can cause lots of swear words and lots of blood, sweat and tears, but this makes it a lot easier. We don't have a lot of bushes we're replacing in this car, we're doing a lot of arms. We did do a couple of bushes which were hard work, and without this kit it wouldn't have been, I would have been screaming.
So we're going to show you now how easy this kit is to use and how, well, just how efficient it makes it look.
It's great.
But the point of it is here, which bush are we pressing out here?
We're pressing out this one here.
So effectively, this is like a big long bolt, and once you start tightening up, it's just going to pull the back of it through and pull the bush straight out.
So basically, depending on your application, you might use another spacer in here. We just don't have a lot of room, and we're not pulling the hubs and wheel bearings apart yet. So we're just going to set this up. If you could get a rattle gun on it, you would, but we're just going to do it the old school way here, and you'll just see that bush is just going to pull through in there. But you can do this with all your bushes, not just the rubber type bush. We've been using it for the steel cage bush.
Now,
There she is.
If only all bushes were that easy.
I know. That's it. Straight in there. Right, so we'll just clean all these inners up, lube them all up.
And let's get some nice Whiteline arms.
Yeah, we will do some, we'll figure out what we're going to do with these hubs later. We're going to probably change to some bigger wheel bearings, but for the time being, we're just going to put this in.
Make sure we got plenty of lube.
Plenty of lube. Love that lube. So much easier.
The arms came up quite well with a lick of paint.
Yeah, we just gave them a quick bit of paint. I don't know Baz very well, but what I do know of Baz, these would have been powder coated, on top of powder coat, on top of powder coat by the sound of it.
No, they would have been zinc plated first, then powder coated.
Right. Love your work, Baz.
So these are a two-piece bush design. Look how much easier this is than the factory OE stuff that you spent what?
These
tearing your hair out trying to get these out.
Look at my jumper. We're trying to burn them out to start with.
Here's your twin 3-inch system.
So you'll get our Twin 3. It's made out of mild steel and it's this aluminum coated stuff. I'm not real happy that it was super splattery when I welded it, so I probably wouldn't use it again. Look, it could be just my welding too. I don't know whether there's meant to be a special gas or a wire, but...
Just say I welded it.
Pardon?
Just say I welded it. Actually,
Jordy welded it.
It looks far too good for my...
Yeah.
Sorry, if I welded it, it would not look like this.
But I wanted to keep them pretty symmetrical. So, like, the floor plan of this side of the car isn't meant to have an exhaust, so I just wanted to replicate the factory rear bar. I'll clean that up and sort of trimmed it out as best I could. And then I just basically set that up in the best position I could for clearance. And then I just replicated it on that side. So there's tons of room and they're on an angle on purpose. But it all fits up good, tucks up nice, should have plenty of chop.
So you can see all the adjustability in the suspension.
Yeah, there's heaps of adjustability. You can widen your track by doing both, in and out, toe one to the other, and then also camber. We've got our adjustable sway bar. So we've set that at the moment on medium. You've got a heavy and a light setting. So we're more than likely to play around with that on the track. But it comes with all the nice little hangers, billet mounts. It's beautiful. And we've beefed up the control arms. We've box tube those in. So we've yet got to do the rear hubs, rear wheel bearings. I've got to get some drive shafts made, but I've just got to figure out what I'm going to use as a stub axle, maybe some STI, or I think I can fit some Nissan stuff in there, I'm told. But then we've just got to get a shaft made, some drive shafts, and that's pretty much rear end done.
And the front end of the car, the front end, we've also got a Whiteline sway bar.
So the rear is 24 and the front's 22. The front's a 2-point adjuster, so we've got a soft and a heavy setting. We've put it on heavy because that's how we roll around here.
You've also replaced the ball joints.
Yeah, they're the correction, roll center correction. So they give us the correction as we've dropped this whole K-frame down. So they are a deeper ball joint and they take up the misalignment of the control arms and they work well.
Luke, a very big day on the car, or should I say a couple of weeks in reality. You've done a full exhaust, including the headers, suspension, thanks to Whiteline. So in the next step, you're going to see Luke building this little LS1, and hopefully she chops.
Yeah.
FullBOOST Garage is a DIY workshop, meaning you can hire a hoist bay and tools and work on your car at your own pace. So far, we've had a range of people come in, doing anything from oil changes, exhaust upgrades, and other repairs to their car. If you need something done to your car and don't have any space or don't have the right tools, get on the website and book in now.
Pissed.